Pete Sampras at 1-2 on serve here in the fourth set. He's up 2-1 against Gustavo Kuerten. Tim Ryan, Luke Jensen, Pam Oliver live here. Shadows have now taken over the court at the Ericsson Open. Tennis Center, Brandon Park on Key Biscayne across the water from Miami.
Well, the lights are on now. This match 2 hours and 31 minutes old. Pete Sampras just letting opportunities slip through his hands, even though he's up 2-1. Played a solid breaker, a gutsy breaker in the third set.
Left.
First serve percentage for Pete Sampras for the match at 63%. 19 aces, 6 double faults, 43 winners, 38 unforced errors. But look at Guga, 44 winners, only 15 unforced errors. The match of his hard court life. And still down.
Big serve from Sampras, setting up the easy overhead. 30 love. 30 love, Pete Sampras.
And that's a good 1-2 punch from Pete Sampras. Using the big kick serve, giving himself time to get to the net to knock off the next volley. You're not trying to win it with your serve. You're trying to win it with the second shot.
Guga going for it. 40 love. The net.
Good clean game for Pete Sampras. A smart game.
40 love.
We haven't seen too many 120s or 130s from Pete Sampras. He's really doing it with a 3/4 pace serve now and his second serve. There's a 119. He almost labors to hit that right now. I mean, it's been a long match, a long tournament for Pete Sampras.
Double fault number 7. Makes it 40-15.
Well, that's a garbage point at 40 love. Basically, you don't want to get into a long rally. You're running out of fuel. Just getting a little bit tired. Just try to get a cheap point. Oh, that's beautiful.
Number 20 for Sampras. 2-all, fourth, 2 games all.
Pete Sampras is going into the pit stops with his rackets. As you can see, both stringers up and going. This is right down in here in the basement, in the dungeon. Both of his rackets. Every time he breaks 2 strings, he sends them off to get restrung. That's 18 gauge natural gut. At 75 pounds. It's an arm breaker.
15 love.
Normally, 15 love. Normally, Pistol Pete has his own personal stringer, but during matches, we have time to really ship him off. And so what happens, you use the on-site stringing service, Jay Schwade. He's got his stringing service here. It's an army of stringers.
Open court for Sampras, takes advantage of that.
One of the few big forehands we've seen from Pete Sampras off the ground. He's been misfiring, but look at the balance. See how he's ready? It's all about time, Tim. And when there's time, any player can knock off those great shots.
30-15. And Kuerten continuing to serve effectively. 14 aces for him.
The second foot fault, yeah.
Not bad for him.
Another misfire off the forehand side.
40-15.
This time he wasn't set up. He was doing the kind of the running forehand, and he started to try to open it up, try to create something, and he pushes it long.
Left. First serve.
Pete Sampras gritting his teeth. Starting to suck a lot of air.
Well, he chops that long, and Kuerten holds easily. 3-2 in the fourth. Down 2-1 to Pete Sampras, the number 2 seed. Back at the Ericsson. Kuerten up 3-2 in the fourth on serve, but down 2-1 to Pete Sampras serving now. Sampras showing some signs of fatigue between these two games. And he knows that with that 2-1 advantage, it's obviously in his interest to suck it up and try and finish it off here in the fourth.
Oh,
great return.
The dagger. Now he's got to make a decision right now if you're Pete Sampras.
Love 15.
If he holds here, then he's committed to winning this fourth. If Gustavo can pull out forehands like this as he snaps at it, go down the line, then he'd have to conserve some energy and basically throw this fourth set and get ready for the fifth. Go down the line. That's a clutch
15
volley
all.
bet.
Trying to change over, looking for that a little extra potassium, a little extra rush, putting some fuel in the tank.
Kuerten looking the fresher of the two, but that's not uncommon in a long match involving Sampras. Just don't count him out because he's won too many of these long ones in his long and distinguished career, even when he has looked down and out.
Well, Gustavo's a clay court player. He plays a lot of long matches. He doesn't, have that huge, consistent first serve to have short points. So he's out there all the time playing long matches, and he's used to it. Pete Sampras usually plays a lot of quick points. Boom, boom, boom. So when he does get into a dogfight, fitness becomes a factor.
Serve and volley there paid off for him. 30-15. Kind of points he'd like to have on everyone. Oh, gorgeous. Drop volley, no chance for Kuerten, who started from well behind the baseline.
14-15.
Well, basically, see how deep Gustavo is? This is taking away the big serve of Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras is now hitting just basically kick serves, that one 114 miles an hour instead of usually the 120, 125 bomb.
40-15.
As the sun comes out once again right into the face of Pete Sampras. That first serve only 99 miles an hour. You really see the decrease in speed from Pete Sampras' serve. That one 107.
Sampras.
Thanks for coming.
So Sampras holds the 3-all here in the fourth, leading 2-1. Kuerten talking to himself.
Yeah, he's frustrated because he can smell blood in the water. He knows Pete's right at the edge, and he can take him into a fifth set if he can just make Pete play some first volleys. Critical game for Pete Sampras right now. He has to strike.
Missing on his drop volley attempt. Well back in the court.
It's the only drop shot he's missed the entire match. This is kind of like a brain dead shot. When you have a guy in the ropes like this, sometimes you get anxious and try to move him around too much. Continue with your game plan. Broken string.
Wouldn't have got to that anyway. Good drop that time from 15. Kuerten.
Now watch Pete Sampras conserve his energy here. Take his time on this changeover. There's another racket that needs to go into the pits. 18 gauge gut. Watch the ball just explode into the string. Sound effects too, Tim.
Very good. Sounded exactly like a string breaking there. 15 in slow motion. That's what I liked about the way he did that.
Super slow-mo.
15-all second serve. 3-all fourth set. Kuerten saw that one. He was ready.
Well, Pete Sampras trying to chip and charge, but Gustavo, the counterpuncher, likes the guy in his face. That's why this matchup has been so intriguing. It's the puncher versus the counterpuncher.
Just wide. 30-15. Second serve coming. Wide, 40-50.
But there's no zip on that backhand. You see it was almost massaged back, and the net cord actually bumped it out wide. But there's no pace on that shot. And there's Paul Annacone charting the match. Actually, no, he's put the pad away.
Another loose shot from Sampras, and Kuerten holds easily to 4-3. We'll return to Miami and the Ericsson Open after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.